Today, I'm going to demonstrate how you create an MLA citation for a Works Cited page based off of an online resource. So this is what we are working on right now is MLA documentation in the style guide. So I'm going to show you how you create that citation based off of an online news article. So in order to start your citation, you need to have the list in front of you of what you include in a citation, which can be found on the MLA Documentation and Style Guide presentation that is in Classroom. So I'm looking at this list, and the first thing that you start with in a citation is the author and or editor names, and it goes last names first. So this is what the article looks like as soon as I pull it up. So at the top, we have the container of this article, which is the New York Times. And here is the title of the article, How a Praying Mantis Says Boo. And it's a study of startled displays, hints at why provoked creatures have such a wide range of reactions. So I'm going to scroll down to see if I can find the author. So typically the author is going to be listed at the top. And this is by Cara Giamo. So that is the first thing that I am going to put in my citation. So it's last names first. And you end this series of information with a period. And then let's go back to the article. The next thing that I put down is the article name in quotation marks. So the title of the article is How a Praying Mantis Says Boo. If the document will load. Now, boo is quoted, so I'm going to put an apostrophe around boo. And you only put an apostrophe around something that's quoted within a quotation mark and then end your quotation. Now, you end this series of information with a period, and the period goes within the quotation mark. So I'm going to use my arrow to go back, put my period down, and then end the quotation. So this is the title of the article. And again, I'm looking at this list of information that I need to include in a Works Cited. So that is how I am doing this and completing this. And again, you have this yourself. So all you have to do is look at this list of information that you put in a Works Cited entry and then just find it in the article. So the next thing that we do is the title of the website, project, or book in italics. So the title of our website is the New York Times. So I'm going to go back to my document. I'm going to click on italics because it goes in italics. The New York Times. And within your citation, you capitalize what is capitalized in the website. So for my title, I capitalized it the exact way that it appears in the article, and I capitalized the New York Times the exact way that it appears in the article. So after the title of the website, you're going to put a comma. And you're going to look for any version numbers available, including editions, revisions, posting dates, volumes, or issue numbers. So at the top, it doesn't give us any editions. Right here, it only gives us the date that it was published. So we don't have any extra dates other than this publication date. We're going to scroll to the bottom to see if there are any other numbers listed. And there is not. So we're going to go back to the top, and because there are no version numbers available, which would include editions, revisions, posting dates, or volume or issue numbers, we are not going to put anything down for that piece of the citation because there is nothing to put down. The next is publisher information, including the publisher name and publishing date. So the publisher of this is the New York Times. So we do not need to put that down again. The only other thing that we need to put down is the publication date, which was September 3rd, 2020. So when you include a date in an MLA citation, you actually begin with the day instead of the month. So we have September 3rd, 2020. And then you end that series of information with a period. The next piece of information is to take note of any page numbers or paragraph numbers. We don't have any paragraph numbers or page numbers in the article. But all you would have to do is check by scrolling through the article to see. Typically, that will not be the case with an online article. If you were looking at an article or a story in Common Lit, there might be paragraph numbers, but not here. The next is the DOI, if available, or the URL without the HTTPS included in it. So we do have the URL here. So we are going to copy it and then paste it into the citation. So we do not want the HTTPS. So we're going to erase it. We're going to end this series of information with a period. And then the last thing that we put down is the date that you accessed the material. So the date of access is the date that you read the material. So now we put accessed on, and we do the day, the month, then the year. And we are finished with this citation. So citations are a little overwhelming and they seem like this very extremely difficult thing that you have to do. However, once you have the list of things in front of you that you need to look for, and once you look at an article and search for those things, you realize that it actually isn't that difficult. And again, don't be anxious if there's something in the article that you can't find to include in the citation, like version numbers. So if something isn't there, you just do not include it. And that's including the author. If you find an article that does not have an author, then you just begin with the title of the article. So if there isn't information there, you do not put it, but you need to look through the entirety of the article before you decide it isn't there. Last thing before we finish this video, citations, when you have more than one, are formatted using a hanging indent. So that means instead of indenting the first line like I would here to signal that this is the beginning of a citation, you actually indent anything after the first line. So what I'm going to do is put my cursor in front of the W of that link because that is what begins the second line. I'm going to press Enter and Tab. And that is going to give me a hanging indent. Now, anything after the first line, so 2020 came into another line. So I'm going to press Enter, and it should press that tab or bring that piece of information over. So if you had more than one citation, you would be able to distinguish the different resources based upon the hanging indent, because then the next article would begin like this. And so you would be able to tell the differences between the citations based upon the hanging indents. So that is one thing that you have to do within a works cited entry as well. But we are finished with this. Use this as an example whenever you try to cite your own sources.